Now at 10, policing body cameras for Minneapolis officers.
What kind of rules should Minneapolis police officers follow when they start wearing body cameras? The debate is heating up tonight.
Plus, the EPA takes quick action over soil contamination concerns in St. Louis Park.
It was globs of goop. I don't know how else to explain it.
And KARE 11 investigates.
That there's no excuse.
A veteran denied benefits by not one, but two unqualified VA doctors. Thanks for joining us. By next year, every Minneapolis police officer could be wearing a body camera.
But there are still questions over how those cameras will be paid for and used. That's why the city's Police Conduct Oversight Commission is reviewing public input on a 36-officer pilot program. The report released last week lists transparency and accountability as reasons why people support the body cameras. Lou Ragoose has the story. It's all new at 10.
The use of body cameras by Minneapolis police officers has widespread public support, according to the Commission's study.
There's no further discussion.
But a policy put together with suggestions from the public is very unpopular with the police union. So you think there's no way that the police department can approve this as the...
Absolutely not. If they do, like I said, the burglars, robbers, and rapists are going to love this policy.
The policy police union head Bob Kroll refers to was unanimously voted on by the Police Conduct Oversight Commission at this meeting. They recommend the police department use this policy in its entirety. It includes rules on when officers should turn the cameras on or off, and accountability for officers who don't follow the rules. But it also has some policies Kroll says are unfair.
Writing a report prior to viewing the video or after.
Kroll thinks a policy of not allowing officers to look at the video before writing a report sets out to trip up police rather than help them do their jobs better.
And if anything deviates what was captured on film, they're liars. That's inappropriate. We're not machines. We're not robots. There's human interaction. They need to take the human aspect into this.
Chief Janae Harteau is the one who asked for the Oversight Commission to put together these recommendations. In a statement, she writes, "We will take the research and study into account while continuing to analyze dozens of other policies and national best practice standards." So again, the police department doesn't have to approve this policy. They can take from it what they want. Meantime, the city council still has to approve funding for the body cameras. The total costs, $1.2 million, although they are awaiting word on a possible federal grant that could help pay for it. They won't vote on it until early next year. Back to you.
All right, interesting debate. Thank you so much, Lou. An 18-year-old Isanti man faces 4 charges tonight after his girlfriend's son ended up in the hospital with severe injuries. Investigators say Jason Stipp was watching the 11-month-old twins on August 30th when one of them became unconscious. Stipp told officers he heard a thud and said he found the boy seizing. Doctors at the hospital found bleeding in the boy's eyes, bruises on his body, and fractures to several vertebrae. Authorities say his twin brother also had injuries consistent with being abused. Stipp is charged with assault and malicious punishment of a child. A 17-year-old Minneapolis boy will be tried as an adult in the June death of his girlfriend's daughter. Cody Fierenbaum gave up his fight to have his case go through juvenile court today. Authorities say 2-year-old Sophia O'Neill died after Fierenbaum kicked her when she wouldn't stop crying.
An 18-year-old Robbinsdale man is in the Hennepin County Jail awaiting charges in a string of arsons. Last night, a Robbinsdale officer found him in an alley between Orchard and Perry Avenue North, throwing something in a garbage can before it caught fire. Police say the man confessed to similar fires in Robbinsdale and Crystal. Police have responded to 5 suspicious fires in the past month. The governor has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff in honor of a St. Paul firefighter who will be laid to rest tomorrow. 38-year-old Shane Clifton died last week when he had a heart attack while on duty. Clifton is survived by his parents and his 2 daughters.
Frightening moments for people on this British Airways jet. You can see an engine caught fire. It was trying to take off from Las Vegas. 172 people were on that plane. They used emergency slides to get out. 2 people went to the hospital for minor injuries. No word yet on a cause. Well, the elected Kentucky County Clerk, who would not budge on issuing same-sex marriage licenses, is a free woman tonight, but she still may face some legal trouble.
Just keep on pressing. Don't let down, because he is here. And he's worthy, he's worthy.
Kim Davis walked out of jail this afternoon to a rally of her supporters, but tonight an attorney representing the couples who sued her says he will ask a judge to hold her in contempt again if she refuses to issue more licenses.
What does she plan to do tomorrow?
The licenses that were issued without the authority of the clerk of Rowan County, and they are not valid.
Kentucky's governor disagreed, saying those licenses were valid and he would not call a special session for lawmakers to debate the issue. Kim Davis is an elected official, so she cannot be fired. She spent 5 days in jail. A pedestrian bridge project in St. Louis Park is drawing criticism tonight. The land used to be home to a creosote plant.
Now a neighbor is worried the EPA didn't do enough to keep families safe from the contaminated soil. John Croman shows us why.
When construction crews cut into a hillside next to a pedestrian bridge in St. Louis Park, a resident of a nearby apartment complex noticed something unusual in the dirt and snapped this photo.
It was globs of goop. I don't know how else to explain it. It was black, tarry.
Laura Nygren suspected it was creosote because the land she lives on, as well as the nearby soccer fields, are all built on top of an EPA Superfund cleanup site.
If I can smell it, that's a problem, I think.
From 1917 to 1972, Riley Tar and Chemical operated the Republic Creosote plant here, distilling coal tar into waterproof coating for railroad ties and utility poles. The plant also dumped waste, including toxic volatile organic compounds, into a peat bog in a ditch that eventually contaminated 4 underground aquifers. The cleanup plan approved in the 1990s includes water testing and treatment of groundwater before it enters the city's drinking water supply.
I'm not a scientist. I could be totally wrong.
Someone removed the tarry substance that Laura reported, but she still keeps other samples in her garage. She even handed a shiny black rock to an EPA official who visited.
She smelled it. She told me she didn't know what it was. She dropped it back down on the ground and told me she didn't know if the soil was contaminated or not.
The EPA advised the city of St. Louis Park to fence off the area to allay people's worries. The agency told us the city follows safety rules to protect workers and nearby residents. If any waste material is encountered, the city takes additional precautions. Now, the EPA says most of the contamination from that creosote plant is still buried there underground, but the city's on-site groundwater treatment system is designed to filter out the toxins. Laura says she's bothered when the breeze is blowing from that construction site toward her apartment, so to her, that fence just isn't enough. Back to you.
All right, thanks, John. A lab worker at the Department of Health is on paid leave after a review found he didn't calibrate equipment used to test water from several Minnesota cities. The tests in question took place between May of 2013 and May of this year. Health officials say they are reevaluating those results, and the problem was found with just the one employee.
So this was not a training issue. This was something that the individual did for reasons we don't know, but really raised questions about the reliability of the data that was coming from his lab.
The tests involve public water from Edina, St. Louis Park, Spring Park, Kasota, and Brooklyn Center, as well as several private drinking wells. State health officials are working with those cities to retest, but they say the water is safe to use and drink. Still ahead at 10, a family affair at the U.S. Open as Serena and Venus Williams do battle in the quarterfinals.
But first, washed away, a western Wisconsin road becomes the victim of severe flooding. Belle?
Well, in weather, let's take a look at the temperatures today. Of course, the rain moved through earlier, and now, of course, a gorgeous afternoon unfolded. 78 was the high, 75 is our average, and this is what your Wednesday looks like. We will start out at 56 in the morning, and we will top out in the mid-70s. We do have a slight chance of a thunderstorm or two late tomorrow afternoon. We'll have that forecast and the 7-day forecast coming up.
And next, KARE 11 investigates.
And the VA ignored those medical records.
A veteran denied benefits by 2 unqualified VA doctors.
A KARE 11 investigation shows unqualified doctors performing traumatic brain injury exams on the veterans at the Minneapolis VA. The VA claims it only happened to a small number of veterans. But the more we dig into VA records, the more suspect that claim looks. Here's KARE 11's AJ Legault.
log online to the Department of Veterans Affairs website, and you can find the name and certification of every VA doctor at every VA hospital anywhere in America. As federal employees, every dollar they're paid, including bonuses, is public information.
The presumption is for access, and the
Lita Walker, an attorney specializing in freedom of information, describes public access to government records as a cornerstone of democracy.
There's an expression that sunshine is the best disinfectant, right? That if you can't see what your government is doing, that there's an opportunity for corruption to arise.
But the VA has a secret it wants to keep. Denied. That's what they repeatedly wrote us when, under FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, we asked for names of employees performing initial traumatic brain injury, known as TBI, exams in compensation and pension departments at VA hospitals around the country. You may be asking, why do we want that information?
I still got wires up here and in my jaw yet. They'll never come out.
It's because of veterans like Butch Hammersma. The Minnesota farmer left part of his skull behind in Vietnam when he drove over a landmine.
First time I looked in the mirror, I thought I was done, got killed and everything.
We discovered he was denied TBI benefits after being examined by unqualified medical personnel in the Comp and Pen department at the Minneapolis VA.
This was a nurse practitioner I had in the comp thing.
By the VA's own rules, only 4 types of specialists, including neurosurgeons and neurologists, are qualified to make the initial diagnosis of a traumatic brain injury. But in Butch's case, records show the person who determined he had no diagnosis of a TBI or concussion was nurse practitioner Brenda Roche.
That's basically it.
Butch's story mirrors what local attorney Ben Krause discovered in one of his cases representing another Minnesota vet.
That there's no excuse. The VA has absolutely no excuse.
That veteran's records detail a concussion received in 1958 on the USS Yorktown when this heavy metal hatch smashed into his head and knocked him out. Years later, when the vet developed a brain tumor, VA neurologist Khalif Bouchara concluded the tumor, at least as likely as not, was caused by the traumatic brain injury. But when that vet went down the VA hallway to apply for benefits through Comp and Pen, he was given a TBI exam by Dr. Danny Smith, an osteopath, not an approved specialist. He concluded the veteran didn't even have a TBI.
They concluded he did not have traumatic brain injury when in fact he did, and it was clearly in the record.
So Krause filed an appeal. Official records show the VA agree that Dr. Smith was not qualified to have done the TBI examination. So they ordered another one, this time by Dr. Ephraim Gabriel, who the VA claimed was a qualified TBI examiner. He also ruled no current clinical diagnosis of TBI. But get this, Dr. Gabriel is also not one of the 4 specialists who can diagnose TBIs.
And they had him conduct the exam anyway and drag my client through the dirt.
So a veteran was denied benefits after exams by 2 different doctors who were not qualified TBI specialists, overriding the finding of the VA's own highly trained neurologist, Dr. Bouchara, who then authored this scathing memo about the errors made and wrote that Dr. Smith and Gabriel failed to consult with an expert in the field that could have provided a competent medical opinion.
Dr. Smith and Dr. Gabriel should never have conducted the initial TBI exam for my clients.
So Krause filed yet another appeal, and the Minneapolis VA finally had a truly qualified Comp and Pen doctor examine the veteran, who agreed he had a TBI. Now he gets more than $1,400 a month in VA benefits.
Had he just gone away, he would have been shy $1,000 a month for the rest of his life, and that's the end incentive there, to save a little bit of money.
We wanted to know just how many initial TBI exams were done by the same 2 unqualified doctors. In response to our FOIA requests, the VA admitted that since 2010, they've done 127. The VA also started sending out this form letter to veterans like Butch, notifying them they were entitled to a new TBI exam because what they call a small number of initial TBI exams were not conducted by the required specialists. But we wanted to know, is it just a small number of TBI exams being done by unqualified doctors like the VA claims, or is it more extensive, both here at the Minneapolis VA and at VA facilities around the country? But trying to get those answers for veterans like Butch is where we ran into a locked gate. Remember those denial FOIA letters? When we and reporters at our sister stations across the country began asking for the names of doctors who've performed initial TBI exams, the Department of Veterans Affairs suddenly started claiming that's private information that won't contribute significantly to the public's understanding of the activities of the federal government. But we're not giving up
so far,
and neither is Butch.
I might win yet. I ain't dead yet, so.
We are appealing the VA's FOIA denial. KARE 11 and our parent company, Tegna, believe releasing the names of the doctors around the country who've performed initial TBI exams will allow thousands of veterans and the public to determine and better understand just how often unqualified doctors may have been used to deny veterans benefits and access to medical care.
Yeah.
Julie?
I like that soundbite. Sunshine is the best disinfectant.
Certainly is.
All right. Thank you, AJ. If you have a story you'd like our investigative team to check on, email us at investigations@kare11.com.
Let's jump outside. It's been a beautiful day here in the Twin Cities, and hopefully that trend will continue, right, Belle?
It pretty much does, Randy. We just have a couple of little hurdles over between now and the weekend, and we're talking little. We're talking a shower here, a shower there. Let's take a look at the bus forecast for tomorrow. Of course, all of those kids that weren't in school last week or the week before went today. So tomorrow morning, as the kids are getting out on the bus, it'll be 57 degrees. And then at recess, it'll be partly cloudy and 73. There could be a spotty shower here and there. But then heading home, those clouds will be increasing in 76 degrees. So today we topped out at 78. The average now is 75. So anything over 75 is surplus at this point in time. And we do have some of those temperatures in the 7-day. The record was set back in a very warm year of 1931 at 99 degrees. And we had a little bit of rain, of course, overnight and into the morning hours. A lot of rain gauges saw a little bit more than 13/10 of an inch. A lot of rain gauges, as I noticed as I was checking around, a 1/4 inch to even 4/10 of an inch. So pretty decent. This was the storm system that moved by overnight. And of course, that cooler air moved in yesterday. The drier air moved in yesterday. And now all that air is moving off to the east and finally clearing out through Chicago tonight. They had a very hot Labor Day. We have basically dry air moving in with just a few small disturbances. So as we take a look at the microcast, we can kind of time it out for you. As we move into the morning hours, just partly cloudy skies. But you notice here through the afternoon, maybe a spotty shower or two. Not everyone will see it. And then tomorrow night through Thursday morning, here's 6 a.m. Thursday morning, another shot of a shower or two, but otherwise just a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures cooling down a bit after that front moves in on Thursday. Friday morning will be chilly. Friday afternoon will only make it to the 60s, but then a nice warm up for the upcoming weekend. So speaking of the weekend, here we go with the 7-day. Tomorrow it'll be 76. Again, there could be a few spotty showers midday across the region, so a tad cooler than today. 76 here, 77 in Red Wing, 69 Grand Rapids, 81 Montevideo tomorrow, and 76 in Pipestone. And as we head into Thursday, early morning shower, afternoon, evening looks beautiful, 70 degrees. We chill down to 46 degrees on Friday morning with clear skies, light winds, and high pressure over us. It will be a chilly morning, but then we only top out at 67 with lots of sunshine. High pressure for the weekend, 74 Saturday, 78 Sunday, looking like a spectacular September weekend. Then next week, 75 on Monday with just a few showers, and then we're back to 80 degrees on Tuesday. Not too bad as we move through the next 7 days. Some of the nicest weather in the country, and of course this month is a spectacular month.
All right,
Sure
thank
is.
you, Belle.
Thanks, Belle.
All right.
Some of that heavy rain that rolled through the area last night left damage in its wake in Clark County, Wisconsin. This highway did more than just flood. It cracked right down the middle. The same road suffered a similar collapse after some flooding 3 years ago. Sports is next. The Twins battling the Royals in KC tonight.
And the Williams sisters meet in the U.S. Open quarterfinals. Highlights next.
KARE 11 Sports from the Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Sports Desk.
Kyle Gibson absolutely dominated his final 7 innings of work tonight. The problem was his first one was really bad. Gave up 4 runs in the first inning. Despite settling down after that, the damage was done. Bottom of the first, base is loaded for Eric Hosmer. Takes Kyle Gibson deep to right center field. Bounces off the wall for a double. Everybody's coming home. Clears the bases. All 3 runs score. Royals take a 3-0 lead. Top of the third, Twins down 4-0. Brian Dozier rips a base hit past third. Byron Buxton, he's quick, scores from second. Dozier ends up with a double. 4-1 Royals, though. Next batter, Joe Mauer doubles to the gap. Dozier's going to score. That makes it a 2-run game. That's as close as they get, though. Twins lose 4-2. And all it took was 1. The Lynx just had to beat Seattle at home tonight to lock up the best record in the Western Conference for the 4th time in the last 5 seasons. And they do it, but it's a little bit close. First quarter, Anna Cruz doing a nice job filling in for Lindsay Whalen. Cruz knocks down the jumper, giving them a 3-point lead. She finished with 15 on the night. Third quarter, Lynx up 14. Maya Moore passes in to Sylvia Fowles. They're friends again after Fowles knocked her in the nose earlier this week. She scores a 2 there of her 14 points. The Storm make it a game, but Moore's game-high 20 points seals the deal. Lynx win 73-67 and clinch the top seed in the West. Well, you can turn off the oven and put away the frosting. Game 2 is anything but a cupcake for the Gopher football team, who, after nearly beating number 2 TCU last week, get Colorado State this Saturday, a team that was 10-3 a year ago. Colorado State crushed Savannah State last weekend, as they should. But this is a good football team, and they know it. The Gophers will give them a much better test this week. The Rams, at one point last year, went on a 9-game win streak. Jerry Kill knows if they are dangerous if they get overlooked.
I think, Higgins is, one of the best receivers in the country, and I think that's well known, but he's got some other guys that he can throw to, are very talented. Quarterback looked good the other day, throwing the football, and defensively they're very strong. They return everybody.
Well, all eyes on the U.S. Open as the Williams sisters square off in the quarterfinals tonight. A great match. Serena receiving serve in the far court, comes in for a nice drop volley at the net. Serena took the first set. Venus took the second set, though. In the third, match point, Serena fires an ace past her sister for the win. Hard to believe it was only a quarterfinal match, but a great one. She moves on to the semifinals. That's going to do it for sports. KARE 11 News continues after this.
Well, we all know the Twins like to hold a dance party in the clubhouse after a victory, and last night, Torrey Hunter gave us a sneak peek into what that looks like. This is a Twins bat boy crushing a dance to I Heart Memphis' song Hit the Quan. Torrey Hunter posted it to Instagram with the caption, "This is what the team dance party looks like." He went on to say, "We are learning how to do this dance as a team."
Oh,
the video has nearly 8,000 likes over the last 24 hours. Of course, no dance party tonight because they lost to Kansas City, so plenty of time.
Let's hope they dance again.
For everybody to get that dance down. And what, they have 24 games left?
Yeah, and I'm not alone in saying that I'd love to see Joe Mauer do that.
Oh,
I was going to say, that's what the team looks like. Let's see the rest of the team.
It would be worth it.
Yeah.